As the zoning committee of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, meets today to decide on the zoning of the 2023 presidential ticket. There are currently two divides in the campaign for the zoning of the party's presidential ticket. On one hand is the pro-zoning group, which wants the presidential ticket to be zoned to the south. This group consists majorly of PDP leaders from the south, while on the other hand, the proponents of no zoning are majorly from the north. At the head of this group are leaders of the opposition party from the north. The latter wants the PDP presidential ticket thrown open to all qualified aspirants. However, each of the two divides anchors their demands on the quest for equity and fair play, while the pro-zoning group argues that since by convention, power has rotated between south and north since the inception of the present democratic dispensation, it would be immoral for the PDP or any of the major political parties to want to field a northerner as his presidential candidate in 2023, by which time the North, through President Muhammadu Buhari, will have occupied the presidency for 8 unbroken years. As it stands, the People's Democratic Party seems to be in a fix on how to handle issues surrounding the zoning of the 2023 presidential ticket without causing disaffection within its fold, especially in the southern part of Nigeria. Joining us now for a critical view of what to expect in today's meeting is Dele Momodu, a PDP presidential hopeful, a journalist, publisher, businessman, and motivational speaker. He's the Chief Executive Officer and publisher of Ovation International. Dele Momodu, thank you very much for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Ruben Abati, PhD. How are you today?
I'm good. Well, quickly, how has it been so far? I've been following you on your very active Instagram handle, and I see that you take this quite seriously. You've been everywhere, almost every part of the country. But now, the PDP has this major issue, zoning. Now, two options likely today. The committee led by Governor Autumn is likely to say, well, the PDP is throwing it open to every aspirant from every geopolitical zone, 6 geopolitical zones. Or the committee could take the position, which is unlikely, that the PDP is zoning the presidency to the south. How does the options, one or the other, favor you?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I think you've already answered the question. Zoning or no zoning, it's obvious if you've allowed everybody to pick up their forms. We've all paid. So how do you tell me that I'm no longer qualified to contest the primaries when you've collected my money? I read somewhere that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has already submitted his forms. So are you going to ask him to pull them out? It's not going to happen.
His money can be returned.
It's not going to be as simple as that. So, and I mentioned this when I purchased my form, that it's like we've put the cart before the horse. What they should have done was to settle the issue of zoning, then you start selling the forms. That way, you avoid the bitter acrimony that we see right now. But even those who are talking about zoning, that it should come to the south, you will see the northern bloc, they are working as a bloc. You see Saraki, you see Bala Mohammed, you see Aminu Tambuwal going around and talking to people. The same is not in the south. The southeast is saying it must be me. The southwest will say it's me. The south will say it must be me. So if you are talking about zoning, why don't you, first of all, you want it to come to the south, let the south come together and fight also and present their case. For me, the danger that I see beyond all this is that those who are fighting are not fighting for the people of Nigeria. They are fighting for power by all means. And that is why this election is going to be a battle of the highest bidders. And that is what we tear both parties, APC, PDP, it may tear them apart. So let's pray that today things will go well, but you've answered it. They will throw it open because all of us have already purchased our forms. I don't see any other way they can do it. Are you going to ask a Wike to go out? Or ask a Dele Momodu to go out? Or ask an Atiku or Tambuwa? Even the Saraki, they are talking about consensus. They've all bought their forms. So why didn't you agree on the consensus before? So that only one of you will then buy the form. So I don't see any way out. The only way out is for them to throw it open.
So we can't expect what we saw with the APC convention when the chairmanship aspirants had their money refunded when they bought their form. That's my first question. My second question, you raised this point about the South not working in concert the way the Northern aspirants are doing. What efforts have you made to bring about a consensus for the South? Have you tried? What was the response?
Well, I have never asked for a consensus. What I'm saying is that the South should jointly present its case. You see, when you stand alone, you lose more. In politics, you see, what I see, I'll tell you now, some of us are not hardcore politicians. We've come into a party that has some of the strongest personalities in politics in Nigeria. So what I then expect is that the party will rise above working only for the party. They must look at galvanizing everybody. If you say you represent the South and it's only about how do I get power, then nothing is going to change in Nigeria. That is my fear. Some of us have come into politics so that we could drive a change. We are galvanizing young Nigerians. I mean, you would have noticed last weekend that Banky W joined PDP. That is what I've always advocated, that the young ones should come into the mainstream political arena so that they can then have better chances. But nobody is reaching out to those guys. Everything I'm seeing right now is someone in the Southeast wants power by all means, someone in the South wants power by all. And, well, I mean, God's so good, I'm the only one who is combining two, South, and Southwest, for now. I understand there may be more people coming out of the Southwest even in the next couple of days. So we're watching.
Do you fear that this process will implode the PDP?
I don't think so. Because in reality, there are only two major political parties. APC is already totally in disarray. That's my opinion.
But the PDP too is in disarray.
No.
Even in splinters.
No. PDP, trust me, is still much more together. What you have in APC now is not a democracy. One man sits down in an office and says, chairman, vice chairman, deputy chairman, secretary, and you just ratify it. For me, that's not democracy. PDP will allow everybody who is interested to run. That's what I believe they will do.
So what if they zone it to the north, for instance, and they say, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, it's your turn again? What would somebody like Dele Momodu do?
I'm a loyal party man.
You sure?
I supported Atiku in 2019. I wasn't a member of the party. I supported him. I support on principle. I mean, I believe that APC has really damaged Nigeria almost beyond repairs. So we must do everything to get them out.
You supported APC too at a point?
Yes, and when I realized, I apologized to Nigerians. I'm probably the only person who's been doing that forever. It's regrettable that I support. But that is one of the dangers of democracy. You have two principal options. We tried A, it didn't work. We tried B, it didn't work. And that's democracy. That's why you have elections every 4 years.
Well, in about 8 weeks, there will be clarity. We'll know those who would go forward and those who have to talk about loyalty to the party. But what has your experience been so far? Because you've been quite active, you've been meeting stakeholders. Have you also taken time out to meet owners of Nigeria, as you described them? Because I saw, okay, you met one. Did you meet the others too? Because you wrote a piece saying that there are some people who are owners of Nigeria.
No, I mentioned it on your program here.
Okay. No, you also wrote a piece
Yes.
this day, right, on Saturday, to say some people own this country. Have you confirmed that indeed there are owners of Nigeria? And what's the state of play with regard to this process and those owners?
You see, there is no question that there are owners of Nigeria. I mean, that theory I first propounded as far back as 1998, 99. I've met one of them, and that's former President Olusegun Obasanjo. The others that I've not met, I've always been in touch with them. You see, the sad part of this thing is that politicians only go to visit people only when they need votes. So the difference between me and politicians is that I already had an existing relationship with people, including those who have wronged me in the past. If you talk about IBB, under IBB, I was in detention. If you talk about Abacha, I was in exile. But that has not stopped me from being nice to them. If you, you follow me on Instagram. Yesterday, I posted a tribute from former President Babangida when I turned 60. Anybody listening to that will know that if I go to him today, I'm just going to pay a visit. It's not that I'm now going to convince him. Whatever I'm telling them now is not new to them. They know about our individual personalities. They know who is a global citizen. They know who is cosmopolitan. They know who is detribalized. So going to them just on one occasion to say, I want to be president, cannot be enough to convince them. And that is why I'm so confident. What I'm doing is to go to the people of Nigeria first. Power will come from the people of Nigeria. Yes, the owners of Nigeria will probably determine who gets the ticket in A and B. But it is good for you to go and show your people that you have the capacity. Because some people are planning to buy the tickets. I can confirm that. They are planning to do everything, and they have the money ready to buy the tickets. But after buying the tickets, does it guarantee that they will win the election? So what I'm doing is not just to get the ticket, is to guarantee that we can get first-time voters, we can get young Nigerians to come out in their millions and vote for them. Today, those who are saying the North must get the ticket, they are saying it because of the fallacy that they believe only the North can win the election for PDP. It is not true. If Chief Obafemi Awolowo and Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe had worked together, there is no way Shagari would have been president of Nigeria. 1979, 1983, the figures are there. We don't have any candidate today half as popular as Muhammadu Buhari was from 2003 to 2015. None. We don't have any such person. So when you boast that only the North, Muhammadu Buhari tried 3 times, failed 3 times. And on 2 occasions, he was defeated by a southern candidate. What Nigerians should be worrying about now is how do you get good candidates. It's not just about where you are coming from. Yes, we want power to come to the south. I support it wholeheartedly. But let's go beyond that. Are we going to witness a change in Nigeria, or we're going to have politicians hijack the political process just because they have money and access to our commonwealth? These are pertinent questions to ask.
I want to stay on this topic of people traipsing up to Mina and the practical implications. You said something about how, their approval is needed if you want to contest. How come? I want you to expand on that. Don't they have one vote, same as the rest of us? If we're really seeking change, why do we continue to hearken to the past by going to visit these people?
I didn't say you must get their approval. I'm not sure Buhari got their approval the last time. But you must recognize, I practice the Christian faith. You must recognize that you render unto Caesar the things that belong to Caesar. Some people, what belongs to them, even in America, is that there are institutions. Even in Britain, there are institutions that you defer to. So as a mark of honor and respect, you go to people, not because they have more than 1 vote, but they have the influence. What they peddle is their influence. You can see that virtually everybody, even as stubborn as Buhari was, Buhari went to Mina. Buhari went to Abeokuta. He stooped to conquer. That is the whole essence of politics. So you go to them, your former president, Babangida, on his 80th birthday, I called him. On my 60th birthday, he called me. You must show that you are a leader. Leaders don't fight. It's their supporters who break their own heads. All these leaders meet. When Buhari's son got married to the daughter of Emir of Bichi recently, who was the godfather? Atiku Abubakar. Everybody is connected one way or the other. But your ability to speak truth to power, that is what I have possessed. That despite knowing all these people, I'm able to look at them straight in the eye, and they all come to acknowledge it publicly that daily you talk to us. Whether they accept it or not, I don't know.
You say you're the only one that you're sort of like dexterous here. You can claim South, South, and Southwest. But in the South, South, there's your friend there, Governor Wiki. He too has been gunning for this position. I mean, put yourself head to head against him, Governor Wiki. What are your chances? And secondly, you said some people want to buy this presidential ticket. Who are those people, really? Who are those people? And do you fear because you two don't have money to buy the presidential ticket that you feel that you're out of the race already?
No. If I felt I was out of the race, I won't buy the ticket.
People say money is your problem.
I said some people want to buy and hijack the process. It's a fact. There's no question about that. In fact, all the people boasting, they are boasting publicly that nobody can beat them. It's because they know they have the money ready. But I've gone through this process before. In 2011, I went through the primaries of the National Conscience Party. The night before, I sent 2 copies of Ovation magazine to each of the rooms of the delegates, while my mates were giving them something. I don't know what they gave them. By morning, you will not believe I was crying. I said, I've lost election. Oh, my friends have given these guys something. I have nothing to give other than 2 copies of Ovation in their rooms. But I won that election. You see,
with 2 copies of Ovation,
you will not believe it. With 2 copies of Ovation. Because at the end of the day, the question is, okay, if the highest bidder in PDP buys the ticket, does it guarantee that the party would win? Somebody must ask that question. And even these owners of Nigeria we are talking about, they are watching. Are we going to allow one man to buy an entire country? That is where people like us come in. So that is what I'm selling is my credential. I'm the only one who has gone around the 6 geopolitical zones already. I don't have private jets, I don't have helicopters. With the insecurity in Nigeria, you can imagine the risk. Going to Kaduna to see Gumi, what if the day I went was the day they bombed the airport or they bombed the trains? Our leaders are not talking about the issues. They are only talking about zoning for themselves. That's what I'm saying. And you should sympathize with such an unfortunate country where someone has a dream that with money, I'm going to buy everybody. And it is actually very possible. There are a few of them.
There are a few of them.
No, I'm a politician.
Okay, so Governor Wiki has said going head-to-head against Governor Wiki, because these two is from the South, and you are from the South, and he's your very good friend. He's the person you've always promoted all this while.
Look, Wiki is my very good friend. I respect him, especially for his interest in infrastructure and all that. But what I'm telling you is that if you buy a ticket, will it guarantee that you will win the election? So the PDP right now, that's the dilemma they have to face. That, okay, we have these bright guys. We have Peter Obi. We have a Dele Momodu. The Igbos are saying they want the presidency. And you have these bright guys. But these bright guys don't have the money to match. So that is where the delegates, you have to appeal to their conscience and you have to show them that if you want Nigeria to change, if you don't want us to suffer for another 4 to 8 years, you must do something different. If they don't do it, I mean, nobody is going to say, oh, Dele folded his arms. My children and grandchildren in the future will not tell me that, oh, Daddy, where were you looking when they were doing all this hanky-panky? So that's the whole process. I'm not desperate. Can't you see? I'm looking fresh. I'm okay. I'm going to play it the clean way. I don't have money to match anybody. But trust me, God has a way of performing. No billionaire has ever governed in Nigeria. It has never happened.
Well, when you wanted to declare officially, you chose Iebe in one local government area of Edo State. And many observers criticize you heavily for that. They say you've always projected yourself as a Yoruba man, as a man from Osun State, and that they were surprised that it was when you wanted to run for president that you suddenly discovered that your paternal side is somewhere in Edo State. Do you stand guilty as accused?
No. If Thomas Paine were to be alive today, he would have had to write a book called The Age of Ignorance instead of The Age of Reason that he wrote. You see, anyone who knows me knows that I have always claimed Edo State. And I did not suddenly discover Edo State. You see, sometimes some of the people who report news, I worry about them because they would have seen that I've been to Yeve before. I've always mentioned my uncle, who was even a senator, Senator Isa Braimon. Everybody knows I'm from Yeve. And I've always said the reason why I was not in Yeve, it was because my father lived, worked, died, and was buried in Ile-Ife. That's not my fault. When we asked him why he refused to take us home, they said witches and wizards kill people in the place. People believe in those superstitions. The day I told my mom I was going there in 2004, my mom was weeping like a baby. Oh, they will kill you. I said, they are my people. If they kill me, they brought me to the world so they can have me. And I went. Sashina Peters, your good friend, was there. So it's nothing new. So for anybody to say, oh, Dele suddenly discovered his roots. No. If I suddenly discovered my roots, then you think all those people will troop out to welcome me like that. The Oba of Benin is not a frivolous king. You know that. Through the palace open. I'm very grateful for that homecoming. You saw it. It was tumultuous. I went to my governor, Governor Obaseki. He welcomed us and said this is the kind of person we need who can manage a modern day government. So what more do I need? And then, you know, in Yoruba land, I was born in Ile-Ife, I grew up in Ile-Ife, I've survived 3 Onis of Ife, from Baba Aderemi, Adesoji Tadeniawo Aderemi, to Oba Okmadeshiju Adeolubuje II, to Oni Enitan Ogunwusi. So, I'm a son of the soil. You know the Alafin, you know our relationship. There is no king, there is nowhere a Tinubu will enter in Yoruba land today or an Osinbajo that Dele Momodu, I will sleep in the place. It's the power of networking. It's the power of relationships. So why would I claim one and ignore the one when I'm strong in both? That's what PDP needs to see. And I'm strong in the Southeast because I'm the only one bold enough to say yes. Go and talk to Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, don't just keep him indefinitely in prison. Or everybody is keeping mute. They can't talk. I'm the only one. When Sunday Igboho came out, he said that I was the only politician or the Yoruba leader from this side who crossed the border to go and seek his welfare. I'm also the only one now who has gone to Kaduna to meet with Gumi to ask how do we solve all this problem. The leader of Nigeria right now should stop worrying only about getting power. It is what you do with the power you get that should be uppermost in your mind.
Right, so you've talked now about the need for unity, one of our most glaring deficiencies right now. So add to what you said about the age of ignorance, it's also the age of cynicism, because there's so much public distrust of anybody perceived to be any kind of politician or government official. How do you plan to deal with that? There's also the issue of grinding poverty in this country and, of course, insecurity. How do you plan to deal with all these really pressing issues?
I mean, in the matters of disunity, as I said, I didn't just wake up today because I'm a politician and I'm going around talking to people, I'm going to do this and that. No, I've always done it. I practice what I preach. If you talk about grinding poverty with my little income, in the last, and I'm sure you followed that also on social media, and I have an app, there is no part of Nigeria that I have not provided succor. Even the federal government that promised 5,000 naira to indigent Nigerians. What we saw, they will put cash on the table and people will line up. I have an app in which if you tell me your local government, I will tell you who I have paid in that local government in every part of Nigeria without discriminating against anyone. I have the app. It was designed by Farida Bedwe, a Ghanaian IT guru. This lady saw me on Twitter distributing money. She said, no. She reached out to me and said, we can do it better. Let's do. So today, I have a database of over 60,000 Nigerians. In fact, the largest applications came from Borno State. The second largest applications came from Bauchi State. I have their names, phone numbers, emails, male, female, widow, employed, unemployed. Government has not done that. So let's face such things, practical things. Ask our politicians, you've been governor for 8 years, what did you do with it? You've been vice president, you've been Senate president, you've been Speaker House of Representatives. come and tell us what you did. Some people have been permanently in government since 1999 till today, and they want to be president now. So let's ask them, have you turned Nigeria into El Dorado? Have you turned your state into Dubai? Or what have you done with all the opportunities given to you in the past? That should be our mission.
Okay, I asked before about Governor Wike. You deliberately stated
you came back to Wike again.
Yeah, I'm coming back to it. And secondly, what a lot of people, keep saying about you is that you're not different from these so-called big politicians because they are your friends. And that's what a lot of people keep saying, that it's a Dele Momodu presidency, not going to be a presidency that have a lot of these people that they say who have done ill against Nigeria as friends. Will these politicians not talking to his ears? Will he do for the people? Will he bring people out of poverty vis-a-vis, supporting his friends? Will he leave the corrupt people alone because they are his friends, because they have patronized him in the past? That's the question a lot of people keep asking. So they say, Dele Momodu is just like them.
My dear brother, Dr. Reuben Abati was in government for at least a couple of years.
I completed my term.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said for a couple of years, okay. Because your boss was in power for at least 5 years or more. Did you ever...
5 years.
5 years. Did you ever see me in Nasoro? This is a practical thing. I'm one of the closest people. In fact, the day he got his letter of appointment, I wrote about him in this day, saying, if chosen, he will be one of the finest, because I recognize his intellect. Did I ever come? When Buhari came, they were arresting journalists up and down. Did you see my name on it? Do you think I don't have friends? One of my closest friends in this government is Chibuke Rotimi Amechi. Today, we hardly speak because I disagree with him vehemently on Buhari.
So he's no longer your friend?
He's my friend. But what I'm saying is that we don't interact politically. It's just personal.
What about Governor Wike? Is your friend too?
Yes, he's my friend, but the best that he's doing in terms of infrastructure, I already mentioned to you, at least of all the governors that I see in Nigeria, and I've traveled around Nigeria, is one of the best that we have, if not the best. He is doing his bit. So if you have a friend and you're not able to tell your friends the truth, then that's a problem. Look, how many people in my position will not just chop and claim out, like we say, as if nothing happened? No, not me. I just mind my business. And when you are derailing, with all the support I gave Buhari, I was one of the first to leave him. If my priority was patronage, there is no way I would have...
Okay, Bob, we have just about 1 or 2 minutes to go. How do you intend to change the Nigerian narrative?
Oh, it's by offering, one, a fresh candidacy. I'm very fresh. I don't know how I've resisted the temptation. I've never been a commissioner. I've never been a governor. So nobody's going to say, oh, you were in power. What did you do with power? You were in power. You stole our money. You were in power. That's number one. Number two, I'm able to manage resources. I'm able to manage people. I've managed my own private business. Now, Ovation is 26 years, this month, April, since 1996. So let any of our leaders who are currently in government and who can say, I managed a company, not managed on my behalf, myself for 26 years and was able to sustain it.
I mean, concrete issues like education, security.
Let me tell you, in 1 minute, I can tell you, I've already told you about the most pressing, which is disunity, because everything rests on it. Now, if you talk about ASU, I'm already talking to people in ASU. Because if you don't know the cause of a problem, more often than not, we'll come here and talk and give figures and go away. No, you must go to the people affected. If you talk about security, Gumi has told us that it is not likely to go away because of the manner those guys came in and the manner they are being handled, and also because security money is cash money, so it's very tempting. So those who are sharing the cash are not likely to want it to end. That shocked me to my bones. I never knew that aspect of the problem. So if you talk about medicals, I've lived in other parts of the world where I know that if you look at NHS, for example, in London, there is nothing stopping us from doing some of these things in Nigeria. It is just the will. If we can reduce the profligacy of government, Because every aspect of our life today, they will tell you we don't have money. If you talk about education, but we have money for bulletproof cars. We have money, for flying and junketing all over the world. So you need a leader who can manage our country, reduce the outlandish lifestyle of the politicians. You will see that a lot of things will begin to fall in place. We have our master plan ready. We are ready to go. And fortunately, because I'm a writer like you, I write a weekly column in which I discuss all these issues and the solutions to them. I even went to President Buhari when he came. I said, this is what I wrote as a special advisor to Jonathan. I volunteered to be a special advisor by advising your government every week. I said he did not listen, and I'm going to be doing the same. So I've been doing the same thing. Every topic you can think of, I've been writing about them. And that's why everywhere I go, you see that what I present to people is not dollar. I present my books of problems and solutions.
Well, we still have more time.
I guess we don't.
I guess at this point, we would like to thank you very much, Dele Momodu, for joining us, and we wish you well with your presidential ambition. Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me again. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.